Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League Match Day 22. I'm Jim Vanessa. Joining me on the desk is PDG. Pete, we've seen some fantastic action already with SK versus E United. That one was over fairly quickly. SK 2-0ing E United. We're now on to the next set of matches tonight. A blockbuster with compLexity up against Team Liquid.
On the surface, Jim, this may seem a mundane, I guess, matchup between two American teams that haven't performed so well in the Pro League so far. But there's extra context we need to be aware of here. There's extra meaning to these games. Liquid cannot drop another game in E-League if they, my apologies, in ESL Pro League unless they want to progress. They're even after being extended to the top 6, they're still adrift to right in that bottom slot with Renegades and SK, and those guys are in some decent form at least. So Liquid are going to have to turn it on here and win this one 2-0. So they're playing for keeps today.
If there wasn't already added pressure on Team Liquid at the moment, obviously adjusting to new roster moves, not performing at the level that the team has been at before, certainly frustration will be creeping in. They have to add into that a real pressure situation. They've got to perform, otherwise they're out. Now, compLexity, a team that has had a bit of roster shuffles, has experienced a little bit of disappointment too with some of their results. They stand on the edge of doing some real damage to Liquid's hopes.
They do, and their map pick is interesting too. So the first map is going to be Mirage, and we've got compLexity. That's compLexity's pick. And the reason it's interesting is because the last time that Liquid lost was to CLG, and it was on Mirage. And then, so, you know, maybe compLexity have identified this is a weak map for the Liquid guys, and they're keen to see what they got on it now because, there's nothing better than... If you can't win yourself, there's nothing better than stopping other people from going through to the finals and knowing that you were the nail in the coffin. So, extra motivation there for compLexity and, you know, a really charged up Liquid roster here, you should think, because, as I said, they can't afford to lose another match.
Yeah, so real pressure being placed on Team Liquid there. And it's interesting that you noted that that was the case, that their last real loss on Mirage was under those circumstances. So, yeah, interesting video coming out from compLexity. The second map in this matchup will be Dust 2, I believe.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure who that favours. I assume it's Liquid. I mean, I'm going to pick Liquid to win this 2-0, but it's not going to be without its struggles for them. I think that compLexity will sort of really come to play, and they have every opportunity to win a map. I just think that the level of urgency that should be there from Liquid should bring out the best in them, because otherwise, you know, they're done for. So, whilst there is a lot to play for compLexity, there's a lot more to lose for Liquid, and that's why I like them in this series. But again, there's nothing better than being the thorn in the side.
There isn't, and there's that real chance for the underdogs to do a lot of damage. But we've seen compLexity start to really hit some strides. I mean, you've got guys on that team like Airdroid that are really starting to put up some numbers as well. Def also doing quite a bit of damage, but it's probably the players that there's less of a shine on that have also been pitching in, like your Apes, as well as Uber. We know what he can do as well. So compLexity is starting to put the pieces together. They're just not quite there, though.
Yeah, look, I think that even though they're starting to improve and we're seeing at least a more decent showing from them more regularly now, they've still got a long way to go, and that includes roster shuffles and finding the right talent to sort of fit with what they want to do. So, you know, while they have made steps forward, there is a few roster shuffles. On the other side of the equation, I mean, Liquid having so much success and then losing a world-class player, obviously, in Simple. So, for them, for any team, Simple's not really replaceable.
Well, yeah.
His skill set isn't, like, replaceable, per se. There are other players that are in the world that are as good as him, but they had a different skill set. In terms of what Simple does bring to a team, you can't just... Because you have to build a team around him. So, once you uproot that player, and then he leaves, you're sort of left with very little to work around, and it's difficult to replace.
I think it's time though that Liquid sort of really let go of that as an excuse. And I don't think they have.
I don't think they're using it as an excuse.
Also, the time that the fans of Liquid too also let go of that as a factor. He's now on Na'Vi. It shouldn't be really dwelled on too much. But Liquid now have literally been a shadow of their former selves.
But I don't really think they're using it as an excuse though. I tend to look at it more as a reason. So, like, an excuse is propping them up for playing bad, but I literally think the reason that they're playing bad is because when you take someone of his stature and literally base everything around him, then he leaves, then there's going to be a long period of rebuilding, not just a short, I'll plug and play, we'll get another guy in and we'll just, work it around a little bit. There's really no replacing Simple, at least from the NA perspective. And having tournaments already in progress, so, player roster shifts are difficult.
The fact for me is that it keeps getting brought up. And it's tough for a team to move past that, too, because there's always that comparison that people are going to be comparing Liquid now and then. That's always going to happen. So there needs to be that time where people move past, and I think that time has certainly reached it.
But we see that from any team.
We will. We will.
I mean,
we continue to see it across the course of
people compare
and sports in general.
Yeah, people compare the early Titan teams with shocks on them to the non-Titan teams, and how as soon as he left they fell off, and it's the same sort of thing.
Shocks fell off, but yeah.
Shocks fell off as well, but I shouldn't say that. He obviously had
he fell back
a historic career. He definitely can turn it back on at any time. But you can see even how that affected Shocks. He was in such a great environment where everything revolved around him, and then he actually went to a different situation and didn't perform even as well as he thought and lost the motivation as well. So you can see how important having that right mix of players is. And I think Liquid are frustrated because they had it. They had it, and then it was just taken away from them, due to the nature of the beast. And now Simple finds himself on Navi, obviously.
Yeah, I guess the one positive is, though, that largely they've removed that PTSD that they suffered post-major, having come so close a couple times and not being able to get themselves across the line.
And I think this is where Hiko needs to step up today. I think this is a moment for Hiko where his team needs to win 2-0. There's no turning back from today.
Oh, exactly.
So when you look at the roster and you think to yourself, Lige can really do some things. JDM, obviously, with that AWP can do some things. Nitro can do some things. But when you look at that roster, you're like, if I had to pick one of those guys just to know that he was going to carry us, it would be Hiko. So in that sense, he's the leader of the team. He's the captain of the team. And he needs to put everyone on notice that he can, when required, step up and deliver the goods for Liquid fans. Because he's the heart and soul of that team now that Simple's gone. So he really needs to step up and show all the fans out there of Liquid what he's made of.
Yeah, I think a lot of their firepower too comes in Nitro and Lige. If they can be unlocked and their firepower can be harnessed, we've seen it happen. They're a force to be reckoned with. When Nitro's putting up frags and Lige is pairing with him quite well, it's really boding quite well for Team Liquid.
Absolutely, and I picked them to win 2-0. So I'm expecting that to happen. But, when you look at it, Hiko needs to go big.
Yeah, I feel as though this could be a 1-1. I feel as though compLexity do have the credentials to do so, and it's more or less on the back that Liquid aren't going to be able to put it together, aren't going to be able to piece it together. I think it's going to be more of a Liquid capitulation than anything else. But we're here live into the first map, and compLexity, this is their map pick, and they need to make it work against Team Liquid.
They certainly do. compLexity here will spread out all across the map. They're not really that keen on pushing anywhere, actually. No double push, double aggression. It was a bit of pressure on the short area from Ape early, but now they've resided back to their default holding patterns. But this looks like a B fake into sort of an A push here from Liquid, and has been exposed by Uber, who goes for the mid-round push. He gets shut down straight away. JDM with the headshot there, and that'll open up the A-bomb site for Team Liquid, as Pimp also picks up Def there, and Hiko fires his block away there. Can't make it work just yet. It does enough damage to dissuade the two CTs and Spawn from pushing in too far.
Oh, headshot there from Surreal. They have that bomb now to defend against 3 incoming CTs, so they've got that man advantage. And they've got players sitting in the right places. You can see it's planted forward. Mid-connector, JDM with the jump there onto Ape. Does take him down. That bomb has been smoked, though, but not quite perfectly enough. And they're making it work, though, compLexity. They're finding the frags. They do find JDM. And a lot of pressure now on Nitro in this 2 versus 1. He takes it first. And the bomb has been defused, unfortunately, for him. And not quite getting to the angle in the nick of time. Great work there from compLexity to actually not only make the frags, take the defuse, and then cut down the angle with which he had to work.
You can see that there was a lot of good work there on the retake. Surreal and Android getting 2 apiece and then working well together to get the defuse. I mean, Nitro did make the headshot with the Glock, so he did I guess, as much as he could do in that situation. But unfortunately, the CT remaining defusing was on 100, so not able to get that instant kill. So great stuff there from compLexity on the retake. And now it will be Android looking to stifle this B push here from Liquid that will come in after that smoke fades. Android just jumping up and down there, about to release the Molotov. This could spur Liquid into action. It seems as though they're warming up. Here we go. Liquid do push in, but Android cops that headshot straight away. The Famous is going to be trapped at the van. This is dangerous for the CTs, but it doesn't really matter. The cavalry has arrived, and Ape does a decent job of slowing him down. Uber chimes in, gets a double there with the SMG, so that money bonus is maxed out. And now the Famous will be picked up and dropped, so not too bad for compLexity. They're losing a couple, but regaining most of their weaponry. Well done.
Easy round there for compLexity. That being said, a few entry frags there from Liquid made it at least moderately expensive for them. So we will have compLexity now with a fairly decent buy with some SMGs, of course, trying to farm some money. Limited options here for Liquid. And I say that just because of some utility that will be expended early, but they do take control of mid, so those AKs going to work. And this is where compLexity need to be careful because they're playing in very aggressive positions. And if Liquid do what I think they're going to do, take slow mid control, this could bode quite badly for them.
It could, but I think they're actually decently set up here. Surreal's got a good position to fight with the mid and the mid-con player. Def's in a decent position here. Hopefully he doesn't get Molotov'd out of that spot, but there's a smoke up there for the terrorist thrown by Liquid, obviously. That spam from Uber is going to help the cause. Nitro not necessarily going to look sharp left, but he may. And for me, Jim, this is going to be an A hit here. You see the bomb rotating back for Team Liquid through T-Spawn. All the boys going to join up there and push on this A ramp, but the split here is real, and now compLexity look to take control of midcon again, and that's a lovely flash for Def to pick out there.
Great piece of teamwork. And now 4v5. And they're amassing on that A ramp, A main, just getting ready to go. But look at the position Uber's in. He's going to be crucial and might be able to get the drop on a few members of Liquid. Doesn't get the drop on Hiko, though. Way too fast in that instance. And now they're going to hit the A bomb site, Pete.
Yeah, compLexity here having to hold on as Elige gets a kill for his side. Def in a decent spot, but Elige is pushed all the way through jungle, so he's going to be able to open up angles, and Elige going to work for Team Liquid. The triple already. That's sick play. And you spoke about his entry fragging power, Jim, and in the first available opportunity for Liquid here, he's flexed his muscle and gone big for his team.
It's been showcased already. He does go down there to Android, does a lot of damage to him, and Android isn't even able to take a better weapon out of that. He will upgrade to the Famous from that UMP, but there's an opportunity for him to get an AK, but not able to take that. He's in a fight now against time and fight for his life because Team Liquid are trying to press the issue here. They're not coming in too quickly, but they will surround him before that timer goes up.
Absolutely. Android here, flip a flash, does get one of the Liquid guys to turn away, but Hiko there, Johnny on the spot, picks up the kill. compLexity, their money has been broken. They will force onto a few minor pistols, I should think. No armor commitment, hopefully, coming out here for compLexity, because they do have enough to buy next round if they take light here. They certainly look to be doing so. Good decision-making there from the leadership team in compLexity. And Liquid will just keep that 5 rifle setup, 5 AKs, and look to bully their way through the map at some point. But they've been pretty resolute in, I guess, their defense early on their T side, setting up that first 25, 30 seconds, making sure nothing goes particularly wrong, and then regrouping and hitting the bomb sites at the end. So they've done a nice job so far on their first gun round, and they look to continue to do so.
Def has that flash with the P250, so he's going to be key as to what they do in this round. But he's over towards Palace, so not really concentrated where the action is. Liquid just move their way up mid, taking control of short. Very methodical in the way that they're actually approaching this round. Very safe, but Nitro out on his own here. Could get caught out if he doesn't check the right angles here. Surreal is right in there. Perfect flash, and does actually work. So that flash from Def may earn them an AK, but they're guarding it quite well here, Liquid. They will hit this B-bomb site. That's exactly where Android and Ape were sitting, but they've just been obliterated in their attempts to try and do anything. So best Uber can try and do is head towards midcon and try and get that AK, but it is under the watchful eyes of Elige at the moment.
Yeah, that's not a battle you want to be taking. Elite starting really well for Liquid here. He's picked up 5 kills in the last 2 rounds, and when he's on point, as well as Nitro, as you said, these guys can do some serious damage. Someone who flies under the radar, I know he does get a lot of hype, but JDM, he is one of the more impactful AWPers hanging around the world. I mean, by no means am I calling him the best or, even maybe a top 5 AWPer, but when he goes big, he goes really big. So if he gets going and they can get the AWP to him early enough, Liquid might tee him up. But as long as these 5 AKs are working well, Jim, Hiko's the kind of guy to keep things rolling, keep things going along as they are, and waiting for the right opportunity to use that AWP.
Not only that, but why change what's working at the moment?
Exactly.
They're going quite well. No need for them to change anything up at the moment. Surreal, taking the AWP duties for compLexity. No real surprise though, we've seen him do it time and time again for them. So he's going to be key for them in this round, but fast attention towards mid coming out. Lee's just setting himself up, making sure that there is no aggression coming through mid connector with that Molotov. And they will take control of mid. That set smoke strategy, just getting him into place behind the wagon. And they're going to try and progress up mid here. Def, though, is sitting in that vent room. And he's going to be key in just sounding out exactly what Liquid are doing.
Yeah, and Cole, really defensive once again. They've had good control of this mid-con section, though, Jim, with the retake flash that's been popping through that smoke. They've done it a couple of times in a row, and it's worked well. So the Liquid player needs to be very comfortable in that mid-con turning from that flash, but Nitro cops the headshot from Def before he takes him down. Liquid with a 1-man advantage now, just over a 1-man advantage. Nitro is very low, but Pimp's going to be boosted up into this window room and cut off the rotation potentially for the compLexity side. But as it stands, the bomb's going to head towards A, and it will be interesting to see how this one unfolds. Liquid seem to be in complete control right now. Uber's going to have to do a lot of good work because Ape goes down with that FAMAS at jungle, and just the one player left towards A here.
And A control is completely the way of Team Liquid. And it's all up to Uber here on the ramp to see if he can prevent the plant. The actual bomb planter is JDM. Nitro was guarding him a little bit, but he was quite low. There is no interest in this round, though, shown by compLexity. They're more interested in trying to save their weaponry, as Pimp does spot out one and tags down Uber a little bit. But CTs need to turtle up here in this B-bomb site, otherwise they're going to lose their weapons as Android. Actually pop flashes Nitro, but Nitro far too sharp on that trigger.
Yeah, signs are good here for Liquid. They dropped the pistol on the first anti-eco, but as soon as they've rifled up Jim, they've looked the goods. They're able to take control of everything that they've wanted. And compLexity here reeling. And to be honest, this could easily have been 5-0 because compLexity pulled off a really sick retake on pistol that very, very nearly went Liquid's way. So very touch and go here for compLexity. They escaped by the skin of their teeth, and now Liquid are definitely in a winning position here.
They have that AWP still on Surreal, so they still do have some opportunity to get themselves some early picks in the round if he can get going. I think Liquid are going to be very aware of that, and they're going to take it as though it was a gun round, because they're not sure whether or not compLexity are bought in to try and support this.
And Surreal will put that dope scope to the edge of the smoke and see if he can pick one up. He pre-fires the line, but doesn't get the Liquid player jumping across it. Re-smoking the window there from Elige. Make sure that AWPer's not in position. But Surreal has quickly repositioned himself to mid-con. He needs to be careful, though. Liquid very, very close, and they're aware of the presence. Surreal gives himself away again, but he'll make the rotation back to window. Now, B is completely open, and I think it's Pimp that's about to find out. Or, no, he hasn't actually pushed in. So, interestingly enough, Surreal could beat him to the spot here and get a pick, but the bomb does look like it's floating towards B. The rotation here, Jim, from compLexity, though, is good. They look to have their finger on the pulse here.
Good read from Surreal heading towards that B-bomb site. So if Pimp's not careful and he does wander out, he could find himself on the end of that scope. In fact, compLexity have taken the complete gamble. They're going to stack B. And if they do head here with this bomb, this could really spell disaster for Liquid. They need to be really careful in this.
They certainly do, and the bomb is just sitting there. So I think they're waiting for something from compLexity to give it away. Nitro's just Yeah, it's gonna be B here, Jim. So it's a good call here from compLexity. A tense moment here for Liquid because they're running into a stack, and not just a stack. There's an AWP there as well. So Ape gets one. The kills are traded out here, but it's working well for Surreal. He picks up a kill. It does take a lot of damage though. 3 versus 3. Only 19 seconds to go. That's the second for Surreal. So the danger is real for Liquid, and Surreal needs this one hit. He gets it to go. 3 kills for the AWP on B, and Liquid's worst fears are realized as he goes stuck in CT spawn. And just a beautiful read from compLexity. They completely booked him, and Liquid will drop an eco round to compLexity.
And Hiko just caught over the other side, away from the action, trusting his teammates to get the work done. But that stack, that read from compLexity, they backed in everything. And it was a good read in the end too, because even if they didn't go towards that B bomb site, they had a better chance of saving that AWP.
Absolutely.
So smart play there from compLexity in that instance. So more importantly, building a little bit of an economy, taking some weaponry from their opposition and maintaining that AWP. So this is where Liquid need to step up because they have that AWP on JDM, and we know how consistent he is with it.
Yeah, great AWPer is JDM, but at the moment, Surreal doing the work for his team, getting a triple last round on that eco that did surround his AWP. So really good work there from compLexity. Bad read from Liquid, but we move on to this next, the 7th round, and Liquid will just get up that catwalk area ever so slowly, inching their way forward. But Jim, you can see the bombs dropped right at the back mid, so they're going to have to come back for that one at some point, and it will be the player Hiko that's rotating through now, or maybe even JDM that goes back and picks up the bomb. Either way, Jim, you can see they're definitely not committing to A here. The entire force for Liquid is on the right-hand side of the map here, but Pimp opens up with a double in B apartments, and that's just going to destroy the compLexity defense. And they're not even going to get a chance to get back on the side. This should be an instant save here. No idea why Surreal is pushed up so aggressively there with the AWP. He should be backing away, and he immediately turns around and gets out of there. So compLexity will do well to hold on to these guns, and Liquid take another round.
Great work there from Pimp. Ape and Android trying to push those B halls, get some information. And I do rate the play. Obviously, they needed to get the trade there. You can't let Pimp get a second frag. So in that instance, the trade fragging from compLexity is just not good enough. And that's what really let them down. So we will have compLexity trying to save their weaponry at the moment. The Liege actually does go down, so they're doing a good job of making it at least a little bit expensive here for Liquid. Don't forget, too, they lost the last round. So their money situation isn't fantastic either.
No, this is a tug of war right now, Jim, and we knew it would be. compLexity coming in and looking well prepared, at least, in the early stages of this game.
But 3 members save out, so there's comfortable options for them. And it really only was 1 member of compLexity that struggled. They're going to be able to easily cover their losses. So Team Liquid now. We will have another gun round coming out with Surreal still maintaining that AWP. He saved it out quite nicely, but this is troubling for compLexity because if they do lose more members here than they can afford, their economy will be shattered once again, and that doesn't bode too well for the CT side of Mirage.
No, but I like this from Surreal. He didn't get enough involvement early in the last round, and he's repositioned himself towards the connector there, and that's what we want to see from him. He picks up the first kill. Liege goes down, and JDM now is looking for this pick through mid-con, and he will find Uber jumping up onto that platform. Surreal gets that one onto JDM, though. Good trading back and forth there from the two sides, but right now, compLexity holding that one-man advantage, and the call has come in to rotate back towards A, and that's a lovely shot there from Def onto Pimp. The angle already predetermined by Def, and all he had to do was step out and make that work, and he did. It's very much an arm wrestle now for Nitro and Hiko in this round.
They've got a lot of work to do. They don't have a lot of time in terms of once they're spotted, so they will be hitting this bomb site. They don't have a smoke to try and mask anything up at all. They just have to try and make these frags, and Surreal knows what's going on, so that bomb won't even be planted in the position they want because Nitro is taken down. Def working from short. Hiko gets tagged up, does get the headshot anyway after Surreal, but he's traded out almost instantaneously from Ape. And Ape will try and get the AWP, but they won't be able to maintain it in time, or won't be able to get there in time. They should be able to drop him one, and they do. But Liquid were out of utility once they hit that A bomb site. It's a very open bomb site, and without the smokes to get themselves at least a plant, it was always going to be tough.
It was, and Surreal doing some very heavy lifting early on. He's got 10 kills in 8 rounds, and most of them coming by the way of that AWP. So He'll jump up into B-holes. This will work well for him once again, and he gets JDM straight away. So Surreal winning that AWP battle so far between himself and JDM. 2 rounds in a row there being taken down by his opposition, has JDM. And compLexity once again, Jim, take a 1-man lead into this 9th round.
And you can see Liquid just setting themselves into a nice default round, always with Pimp putting pressure on those B-holes, at least passively. So he's always trying to keep someone there. More importantly, he's just trying to prevent a push than anything else. And they're taking their time working the map as expected too. They get Liquid, get Elige into that mid connector. They're always trying to get someone in that position. It gives them a lot of rotation options, as well as gives a lot of control to Liquid. So they're always trying to work that opportunity if they can. It gives them good pincer here on the A-bomb site, should they choose to use it.
Certainly does, but for the moment, Liquid really going back into their shell. I did not expect this from them. I thought with the early frags with Elige and Nitro, they'd be a lot more aggressive, and just, I guess they're just a little bit negative right now, I feel, for Liquid. They don't really look like they're hungry, and they believe that they can get these rounds. We were there with a weird Molotov, I think, that didn't go quite as far as he wanted it to. But Elige here opens up well, so this is better here from Liquid, but they need to do more. He picks up Hiko, and now that's a good spray down from Uber. He's going to be trapped in a Molotov and go down to Nitro. He picks up a double. This is good stuff from them, but now to 2 versus 2. What are you doing, Pimp?
Surreal. I don't know what Pimp was doing.
Surreal already had taken a shot at Nitro. Pimp just rolls in and tries to plan, not even tap a couple of bullets. There was 10 seconds, so yes, it was urgent, but it's not as if it hit the 6-second mark or something like that. He still had 3 or 4 seconds to fire a couple of bullets and reposition himself. He chose not to. And in the end, it was a pretty simple clutch for Surreal, who's on fire right now, ladies and gentlemen. But that was more about what Team Liquid didn't do to close that round.
Yeah, I was just not too sure what was going on there. Obviously, time was of the essence, but I'm sure you would step out with weaponry first and try and make a frag. Does cost him in the end, and compLexity to take that round. Great work from Surreal to close it out nice and quickly, and he's been solid for them with that AWP.
Certainly has. Surreal getting it done. Liquid are dangerous on these eco rounds. I mean, you may as well call them Hiko rounds instead of eco rounds for them, because I mean, prior to Simple joining, he was the only one that seemed to do things on piss rounds like Deagles and all that sort of stuff, take 9 rounds, but he's got no armor here and all the Ts. I imagine grouping up here, talking about the next round. I can only imagine that's what they're doing, just discussing a few bits and pieces for next round, making sure everyone knows what they're doing before they eventually will just try and make their way in towards B. That Molotov's going to trigger a bit of damage, but nothing too serious. Elige taking a bit of damage with Pimp, but Jim, we're just waiting for the slaughter to start here one way or the other, and the double molly comes in.
This utility usage from compLexity is fantastic, but they will run through that smoke. They will try and hit the site. Nitro isn't able to get that entry frag there, and Android is going to clean up here potentially here if he just holds that trigger. Does run out of bullets though. Does run out of HP as well, so they do actually take control of the weaponry that they did have, but whether or not they're going to be able to get the plant, that's the next question. The HP on Elige and Pimp is quite low. Pimp just the last one remaining here at the van. He's got AHP. He's got an AK. Maybe able to do a bit of damage. Does take one before he goes down. So time was against him.
Ends up huge for Liquid. That last frag meant that they took down 3 guns in compLexity. Now, this is going to force a pretty awkward situation for compLexity with their money. Instead of being able to just drop 2 weapons and have 3 men alive, we're looking at 3 people having to buy here. So decent round there for Liquid that really came out of nowhere. They just sat back and waited for all the utility to be used by compLexity and ended up getting 3 kills. So well done to them, but also well done to compLexity for closing that one out. Surreal back on that AWP grind, and it will be Liquid here trying to take this A-bomb site with an execute.
And fast towards this A-bomb site. They don't have the people stationed here at this A-bomb site at all. They've tried to take mid control against Hiko, and Hiko's just cleaned up 1, but now it's all on Uber here in the A-bomb site. He's now being joined. He at least has some help, and he does go down early on, but now Surreal is there. He's been punched out. And luckily for him, they don't find him through that smoke. The bomb plant will come down. Look at the retake coming through CT here. 2 CTs on the attack very, very quickly.
Yes, but it's going to be 4 members of Liquid alive and well, and this is the change of pace I was thought that we'd see from Liquid a bit earlier than this, but look, it's Cole once again retaking this A bomb site. Surreal picking up that AWP kill. Elige now in a position where he has to go big for his team. He sprays down, but can't get a frag there. Surreal's going to flank up top. He gets the P250 headshot, works his way around to that triple box, but the defuse is coming in here from Ape, and Pimp hasn't heard this, and this will be a crucial round for compLexity. And while Pimp picks up those last 2, it's not going to be enough. Lots of financial damage being done to compLexity, though, in the last 2 rounds. However, they come away with both round wins, and Surreal gets back on that AWP. So life goes on here for Cole, and 17 kills for Surreal is going absolutely bonkers.
Important they get that AWP back in his hands. You can see how influential he's been in these rounds, and not only this, but now here's a chance to find the opening pick again. He does find Pimp, trying to get down the catwalk quite quickly. That's all part of their strategy. Def cleans up from the mid connector. He's traded out by Elige, and they're trying to take control of mid here, Team Liquid, but they're just being met with so much resistance here. 8 does a lot of damage, but can't quite find that frag, and now they're going to try and push through to this B bomb site. Surreal again, though, finds a second.
Onto JDM as well. So JDM's been absolutely shut down by Surreal thus far. And he is looking spectacular. 19, 2, and 5 for Surreal. Going full-on carry mode here for compLexity. As we take a quick look at that scoreboard, wow. That is crazy. There is only 23 frags on the other 4 members of Cole, and he's got 19 of his own. So really good work there from the compLexity AWPer, and he's going to have to continue to go big, clearly, as Liquid look for this A bomb site execute. They've got only armor on Pimp, but the rest just forcing pistols for Liquid, expecting here something fast, something furious after the smokes and flashes pop. But for me, Jim, there's not enough aggression on gun rounds for Liquid. They're playing quite defensive still, and it's not working well for them.
Well, I hope JDM can make some use of those dualies, because I hope that was a misbuy. If not, we might see the result of that. But yeah, they're not making effective use of much at all at the moment, Team Liquid. Pico does go down early on, and this is them just running into the meat grinder. Nitro finds a reply, but they never were going to get too far at all before being cut down. So compLexity find themselves another easy round there, and Liquid will find that buy, and then we'll get that AWP in JDM's hands. So they're going to really be looking to him. That being said, I don't feel as though JDM has been a fantastic T-side AWPer. He doesn't really have that aggression aspect that is required. He's far better on that CT side, and he's fantastic on that CT side. I just think at times he does struggle a little bit on the T side.
Absolutely, and Liquid here going to have to dig deep. Remember, Jim, if Liquid lose this map against compLexity, this map, they have no shot at making the finals. So
bar parting of the Red Sea.
Yeah, bar a complete meltdown of Renegades and SK towards the back end of the season.
On Moses.
But exactly, and Liquid here will have to rebound here, Jim, because they're in a lot of trouble on the compLexity pick, which seems to be going to hit Def, picking that angle once again, and he's taken Elige down, and he's hit Pimp already a few times, and that spot has Def, so he's won that angle duel a couple of times, and the smoke comes out from the T's to prevent that duel from happening again. JDM really needs to fly with his AWP, because there's a lot of investment gone in, and so far Surreal has got him every single time that he's AWP'd up. So no return on investment so far for the Liquid economy, and that's really, really hurting them.
It is really hurting them at the moment. JDM actually misses an opportunity to find a frag onto the A bomb site, and you can see they're caught in mid now at the moment, Liquid. They only have the smoke on Pimp, so he's going to be quite crucial in what they actually choose to do late round here, but they don't have any picks. As I say that, Liquid find 2 picks as now they start to gain control, but you can see how close proximity the CTs are in. Android finds 1, and that's turned them around, caused some confusion, and that's allowed the frags to come the way of compLexity. Now it's all on Nitro here in this 2 versus 1. He has to claim the bomb. Doesn't have a lot of time to work with. Does find the frag onto Android, but he is smashed in the back of the head there by Surreal, and he is just continuing his charge, Surreal. What a half from him.
That was huge from Surreal at the end, but it was a grown man move there from Android, running through that smoke at short and exposing the back of the attack there from Liquid. He picks up a double, and even though it does go down to Nitro at the end there, trying to recover the bomb, Surreal was able to gain that positioning and remove the head off the shoulders of Nitro there, but Liquid, As I said, they're going to have to bounce back here. Uber with that auto sniper as well on the CT side. I think Surreal still with that AWP, obviously doing such great work. A complete buy for compLexity. And Jim, they're looking really solid on their CT side.
They're looking very, very comfortable at the moment. That's on the back of a fantastic performance from Surreal. And now they've got that auto sniper on Uber, aka the Dak, and it's just Def cleaning up there in mid, the triple. And he's just denying them entry. He knows that the mid connector has been key to Liquid's strategy, positioned himself quite well. And what compLexity were doing really well in the early stages of this half was getting a little pop flash in there. Once they recognised that Liquid had taken territory, they were taking it back through those flashes. So
certainly were
finding the frags, and now a lot to do for JDM. He needs to try and get something happening for the team. He's got a few seconds to work with. He has the B-bomb site potentially if he can find that frag onto Android, who's just sitting at short, who has the spot. So this is going to be difficult though for JDM. He needs to find his first frag, and Android is changing his position quite well. Now hears him. So the call has come through. You see the rotation coming from Liquid. He does get the drop onto Android, but he takes a lot of damage doing so. 3v1 to come out.
Yeah, it's not going to be doable here for JDM. Unfortunately, gets the first, but Def picks up his fourth, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is a Def jam. 11-4 coming out here for compLexity. They have absolutely rolled Liquid after a good start from Liquid. And compLexity there, flexing their CT side muscle, particularly Surreal. His alias describes his half, and he was phenomenal with that AWP. JDM got crushed in all of those duels, no matter where it was mid. It was A halls. It was B halls. It was everywhere. Surreal just had his number, and JDM needs to lift on his CT side.
Yeah, there is just another half to come from both of these teams. So there is a little bit of hope here for Liquid if they can get themselves going on that CT side. Maybe. Surreal.
I think Surreal is just...
Point in case, his alias says it all. What a performance from him.
Surreal could have just ended Liquid's chances at getting through.
He could have single-handedly. That is the importance of this match. It is the reality, or the stark reality, for Liquid. If they do not win, they could see their final chances disappearing this half.
Yep. compLexity here. We'll jump on this T side, and this pistol is obviously massive for Liquid, but for compLexity, they'll be really wanting to get away to a pretty good start as well, because that CT side of Mirage can be a fortress if you're hitting shots, and Liquid certainly have players that can hit shots, and it'll just be up to compLexity to debunk that one kill there. Coming out straight away for Pimp. That's a headshot onto Def, but Hiko does nothing there. Pimp, second headshot. Third kill there for Pimp. Sick round before he's taken down by Surreal. No surprises there, and now Surreal stuck in a 3v1. He actually thinks there's still one in B, but his teammate got that kill earlier. And Surreal here just completely going to be caught out of position. He's going to have to do something pretty majestic here to get this 3v1 to work in his favor, because Nitro's got the bomb in his sights.
And Surreal was convinced there was someone still at the bench there, so that chewed up a lot of his time trying to get that bomb, but he will try and get it at the moment. He will also get the plant as well. But 3v1 to come out. He is in that raid boss mode. Actually, he's lacking a little bit of armor, but if he lands some shots here, he could find himself the round and really put pressure on Liquid. But that fantastic B-side defense from Pimp really set up Liquid in that retake. 3v1, you wouldn't expect that to happen, but...
This is interesting, Jim. For me, you can tell how nervous Liquid are. You know why you can tell that they're nervous? Because in that situation, if you're Liquid and you're coming back in this game, allowing the plant to go down there means that compLexity get a quicker gun round and get to those AKs one round sooner. So it's a 3v1. They know exactly where he is. Surreal got a kill in B. 3 players on Liquid. They just didn't back themselves to group up and run at 1 player in compLexity and prevent the plant. So they got an extra round advantage and actually can extend that. As it stood, they played very, very defensive, as has been their style, and the plant goes down. Whether or not that will change the scape, we'll never know, but we shall see coming up here, as compLexity have, as a result of the plant, taken a full eco and will buy into the next round.
They will, and Nitro does farm some money there, the MP9, shredding Def, and they're going to get into this bomb site potentially that they can collect that bomb. That bomb has been put on top of the box. I do believe it has been claimed now, but Alicia's just slashing away, does take down the planter with that knife of his, so preventing the money going the way of the T's, and giving himself a little bit of a cash bonus, but Team Liquid now starting to chip away at that deficit. Will the gun round come out from compLexity? Yes, it will. So they will have to contend with some 3 rifles and 2 pistols.
Yeah, good use of utility there from compLexity. They definitely have a plan in mind. You can see players with the utility got very specific stuff to clearly run their A execution so that they manage their utility before their weaponry. That's fine as well, because you can see Liquid taking the gamble here. JDM not upgrading on that scout. Hiko, Nitro not upgrading. This is crunch time here for Liquid, and if they get taken apart by these rifles, then you know that first round plant can really come back to bite them, as well as not reinvesting in this round.
That is the stark reality for them. And now compLexity just setting themselves up here for this A bomb site take. The Molotov there is going to be crucial because it stops them from pushing through onto the stairs. Now, JDM gets that spot, does get the tag with the scout, looks for the second frag. He does actually find the second tag. And now they're just being destroyed here despite having a weapon advantage. Nitro cleans up with 2. And compLexity stopped at the front door.
Yeah, that is exactly the sort of round Liquid needed. I was skeptical of their keeping those SMGs, but the positioning there excellent from Liquid. They made it work, and what really was the difference was the jump spotting there from JDM, keeping that scout, you know, proving me wrong, jumping over that smoke, getting that A-Hall's pick, and he actually got a kill and also a tag off. So that made it very, very easy for his teammates to pick up those kills, and Liquid here look great on their CT side so far, but there's a lot of work to go here.
A lot of work to be done before they can safely say they're on equal footing with compLexity at the moment. And now they're going to hit this B bomb site. Pressure going to be put onto Hiko with that green UMP of his. And now Pimp, his site defender, will actually pick up a frag with a Molotov and the Colt as well. So they've been stopped trying to get into this bomb site. JDM finds a frag there onto Def, and they're just being shot like fish in a barrel. Liquid find another round and start to cut down that deficit. It's only at 3 rounds now.
Liquid here on a little bit of a roll. Pimp we sort of haven't gone too much into in terms of, like, we've concentrated pre-game on like the departure of Simple, but like the inclusion of Pimp, there is so much pressure on him to perform. You're filling such big shoes, and he came up massive for them on the pistol round. He got a triple kill, and then a couple of other rounds in the game, he's really stepped up. So he's doing what he needs to do here.
Talk about pressure to perform too, but also uprooting yourself from your native country and moving to the North American region to try and continue your CS career. There's a lot of pressure too, not only from the fans, but pressure you place on yourself too. So he's got to contend with all those things at the moment. And Liquid, as we've said, they've got to win both of these encounters. So talk about a pressure cooker.
Absolutely there, Uber holding the A-Hall's push for his team, but compLexity now scared away from that A execute after being shut down by Liquid. They're going to move on towards something more mid-focused. And it's going to be difficult here for Liquid to get a read on them early, which is fine. Bomb still in T-spawn with a minute to go for compLexity. They're slowly working themselves back towards A, I believe. It's going to be another mid-con exchange here and an A split. So Nitro getting that line onto the A ramp. That's a huge shot there, shutting down Android. And that's one half of the battle almost won for Liquid. And it will be Nitro getting the bomb down as well. So that's crucial stuff there, because now it's all in Liquid's favor.
They have to take the site, then go and try and claim the bomb, and they're not in a position to do that at all, compLexity. So this has gone so far, so wrong for them. And now Uber is going to try his best to make something happen, but with 20 seconds left on the clock, I doubt they're even going to be able to get into this bomb site, let alone win the round. So
maybe they're just 180 on a Pimp. That was sick, but Elige will trade with him. Uber does an okay job, but look, one more kill here required for compLexity to make this worthwhile and try and force some economical damage, but it's not forthcoming here. The clock will expire. Uber will hold on to his AK, but Liquid grind out yet another round. They're back on the comeback train, and they take another round and move on to 9.
Yeah, Uber able to foon his way out of there and save that AK. So a little bit of hope for them in this round. They're going to be looking to him and put him into positions to try and open things up with that AK. He's a real chance into this round, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him into that second entry role, trying to bait his teammates a little bit more. It's positive baiting because he will be looking for that trade frag to try and get some weaponry in the hands of his teammates, but a lot of damage being dealt there at the top mid already. Uber goes down. to 30 HP. So their great hope in the round has already taken a battering. And now they're taking their way up mid quite slowly, but Liquid, they're not giving away frags.
No, they're not, and they're going to group up on midcon here and force the hand of Elise, who'll pop a flash through there, and it won't be too effective, actually. Probably went off just underneath the first stair and not really doing too much. Def waiting for this second pop flash. You can hear Elise coming. He turns away. Lige squaring up right now, although Pimp looks down onto Uber in mid. That's the AK down for the counter terrorist, and now Hiko and Pimp will combine here for an easy shutdown. JDM gets the last. An AWP kill, whilst very easy and very calm there from JDM. A simple frag. Sometimes that is all you need to get going as an AWP. But just that first one to come through the pipes, get an easy kill, then all of a sudden everything starts going in slow motion again. You can start hitting those shots.
And the pause has come out as well, so they really need to assess themselves tactically and make sure that they're approaching the round the right way. compLexity have struggled to get onto these bomb sites, Pete.
Yeah.
What would you be suggesting that they start doing? What are they not doing?
Well, for me, they're not putting enough pressure on B halls early. The great Mirage teams are able to really force the CTs to come off mid, and you do that by having B pressure early, drawing the short player away from the mid side of things, maybe drawing the window player back towards the checkers area instead of being in that window room. If you can play one at the start of the round on B comfortably, then as T, you're not doing a good enough job at putting pressure on that bomb site and sucking the forces away from mid. Once you do that, you can then take mid control, you can get into mid-con, you can boost into window, do all the cool stuff we see on Mirage, but compLexity are doing that at A ramp, fighting decently. At B, not so much. So Liquid getting easy reads. And if they want to sort of get back in this game, compLexity need to get that Molotov at the end of B halls, get that smoke down, couple of flashes over the roof, and suck the defense of Liquid back towards B.
Yeah, they need to put pressure on the extremities of the map. I mean, they're doing that effectively at A. They've also got Uber using those palace halls as well to try and get things going. But there's not really too much happening over towards that B side of the map. So I agree. I would like to see a little bit more of a presence from them towards that side of the map. As you said, it gives them a lot more options too late round with that lurk coming through the underpass to try and cut the rotation out. They don't necessarily have to have that person inserted into the window or sitting at the top of mid. They can have them coming through those avenues as well.
I think this could actually be a technical pause.
Okay.
Usually with the match pauses with a tactical pause, sorry, you get the little 2-minute timer coming up on the screen counting down. So I imagine this is an admin pause of some kind, and it's been removed, so all players are ready. In which case, Jim, the players aren't actually allowed to talk. It's been played online, so it's hard to enforce that, and I can't imagine
it's only a major rule,
that. I can't imagine that it would be easy to police. But at the same time, compLexity will get an opportunity to talk about it. And already you see some direction going towards B, but again, no pressure being put on early. And that's what I'm talking about. You see on the radar that lone number 2 at B comfortably there by himself while those two players patrol short and mid. So exactly the situation we're talking about in that case. And now Team Liquid have set up in a really comfortable position where, they've got a decent read on compLexity, and they're just waiting around for their opposition to engage.
Waiting for that timer, but at the moment they haven't done what we suggested either. They haven't really had that presence towards the B halls. They are taking control of the mid, and CT's fairly well split. This is exactly the kind of setup we do see on the regular from Team Liquid, so not really too much to report there. There is a presence on Catwalk, though. They're going to try and get themselves up to short and split through that B. I would like to see the bomb actually go through the B halls. A little bit more surety that it actually gets into the site. Doesn't get taken down, but Surreal is hitting shots, so what does it matter anyway? As we have Hiko to try and get the frag. He does get the first. Looking for the second, not able to find it. Surreal, again, he's just hitting shots. JDM, though, still to contend with in this bomb site. He hasn't gone down. Does get himself a second frag. That could be huge because it's allowed a window of opportunity here for Team Liquid to get that rotation across.
Apes picked up the AWP though, so he's got the scope on the back of the site onto Pimp. He's got 25 seconds to make his move here. He needs to go B. Can't really force his way back out to A just yet, but he's certainly going for that, and he's been spotted out. So Nitro will easily be able to close off the cross to the bomb site here if he arrives in time. He certainly will, and that should be an easy frag there for Nitro. And is Surreal there doing some great work, but JDM answering the call in B, getting crucial frag after crucial frag. And as you said, allowing Pimp that time to rotate back into the site. But Jim, once again, it's what compLexity didn't do at the start of the round, I believe. Allowed Liquid to get too much map control, and they had a good read on them after that.
Yeah, they had an easy read on that one, so it will not be anything positive for compLexity at the moment, with now JDM very forward in that position. Finds the first frag onto Android. So Android, completely unaware that that was a possibility, does go down, and they've set themselves up here on the A ramp for what looks to be an A hit, but they now have to wait to see whether or not Def can do anything on that lurk. And as I say that, he is completely shut out. 3v5, setting themselves up for an A hit, but very forward positions from Liquid have made it very difficult for compLexity to get anywhere.
Absolutely. The best of Liquid being shown here right now on compLexity's map pick. Liquid did go down to CLG recently on this map, so they have been exposed by other American teams. Can compLexity convert this one? Nitro getting the spot onto A-Ramp, and that Molotov will be decent in slowing down the push of the teams. Or will it? No, Uber and Co just charge through that Molotov, and they will take control somewhat of the A bomb site, but Elige is still at stairs fighting hard for, or to prevent the plan, I should say, as the CT rotation comes in from CTs.
And JDM's still alive, harassing from that ticket booth. And he's got someone to support him now as well, as Pico arrived. And they're just getting shot now as those smokes start to fade. This is real pressure here on compLexity. They're just being shot from every angle imaginable. And JDM, also Pico picks up a frag quite comfortably too. Pimp with the follow-up. And that is compLexity struggling to get anywhere towards that A-bomb site. They're not having a good time at all on their T side. And it appears to me as though Liquid have really started to snowball, if that wasn't apparent already with their run of rounds.
Double AWP coming out here for Liquid, and it's come at the right time. Perhaps there's an opportunity here, though, for compLexity to get this pistol round to be nice and aggressive, but you know, they're going slow hauls, which should feed these AWPs pretty well. Pimp and JDM having those snipers. Pimp's over at B, though, so it'll just be JDM fighting from that usual position. He takes up Elige, gets one, and maybe he gets two. Nice spray down, three Elige. Sick. Absolutely sick control there on the AK. Gets the triple. And goes and shows off a lovely piece of mechanics.
Fantastic work from him. Just gobbling up those frags for breakfast. And now we have Liquid well and truly in the lead, but Surreal has that AWP. They will have a gun round coming out here, compLexity. They want a few more bites of this cherry. And they're going to be looking to Surreal to open things up. He's been fantastic in this match so far. A little bit quieter by his standards on the second half, but look at this push from Liquid. They're not letting compLexity get into any sort of rhythm at all. And despite being flashed, Ape finds two in reply, so it's back down to a 3 versus 3. And Ape's taking a little bit of damage, but more importantly has his life. So they have the numbers now, 3 versus 3. They can slow it down. They can try and work whichever site they please, because the CTs have a lot of gaps to now try and fill.
They do, and look at the radar. The 3 CTs are literally as far away from each other as you could possibly be, while still being on their half of the map. So 3 1 versus 3s available to compLexity here, and they're going to take the challenge of B, which is actually the worst one here. As Pimp watches that line, he will get the first, and the Molotov will come in as well to slow the progression. Now, appears as though Uber's going to flash out the window. Yep, so compLexity there using a bit of extra utility, but will fall away from this B-side site and make their way back to A. But Liquid here, so much time to rotate. So much time to rotate and figure it out. It'll just be up to compLexity here for what they do.
They've just backed off a little bit here in the B halls. They were waiting to see if Pimp would push back into the B halls and would allow them an up pick, but he hasn't done so. Then now they have to reassess their options. So switching out 2 rifles, 2 AKs, making their way up mid. And this is the best chance actually for Liquid, because they now have at least 2 people on whichever side, or in close proximity to whichever side they hit. So we will have them hit up the mid connector, and that has been heard now. Elige takes 1, Pimp takes the second, and great work there from Pimp to shut that out.
Great work there from Pimp, but that was a horrible 2v3 played by the compLexity players. Absolutely horrible. They semi-committed to B. It was a 3 versus 3, first of all. They semi-committed to B. They then sat in B halls for 20 seconds. And if you do that, you need to then re-engage on B, because you're sort of faking the rotation back to A by staying quiet in B halls. They didn't do that, and they ended up just booking themselves by rotating themselves into their own stack that they forced. So not well thought out there by compLexity. and they're going to have to do better in those close-knit situations if they want to take this one out, because Liquid looks strong now.
And they're hitting this A bomb site, but they're not aware at all that Nitro's pushed through the palace. So he's either going to be fast on the flank or potentially still in palace when they hit this site, so they don't have control there. Pip gets the first frag, and now it's actually that flank that's coming through. So they're going to hit these smokes. They're going to try and get their bomb plant down, but they're not going to be aware of the position Nitro has. They get up in the faces, and Liquid are just obliterating them, liquefying their opponents, and they get smashed there by that flank from Nitro. And that is the play that actually wins them that round. And compLexity now have to try and fight their way back. 4 match points. I don't know if they can do it. They haven't been successful in any rounds at all on this T side of theirs. They've just been completely shut out.
Yeah, it's absolutely astounding what's happened here for Team Liquid. The turnaround, the pistol round win was dominant. Pimp getting a triple, and they shut them out. And ever since then, they've really looked strong on the CT side of things. Mirage is a CT map, but I thought compLexity had done enough on their T side with 11 to basically upset the Liquid side, but that gritty resolve being shown by Liquid right now. They have definitely had their problems, Jim, with closing out these sorts of games in the past, so we don't want to bring up bad blood for them. However, you know, they have had issues closing, period. So for them, going on to their advantage side and closing out is a really, really good achievement for them. Like,
well, it's not over yet.
It's not over yet, but
this could be where Liquid potentially start losing rounds. It has been written.
Has been written in the stars. I've potentially cursed Liquid once again. Uber and a smoke there at top mid. Elige, Nitro, getting 1 each, and so this is a 4 versus 3 now, and the bomb goes down there for Nitro, who picks up yet another kill, widens the angle out, and will continue to push mid, I think, in search of yet another kill. But look, 30 seconds to go, no bomb here for Cole, and 2 players left.
Yeah, they've got no territory. Now they have to watch their flank as well, so this is not boding well for compLexity here. They're just going to be cleaned up. And now all on Android. Not much he could do in that situation. And compLexity find themselves just left out in the rain on their T side. No rounds whatsoever.
No,
that can't be a positive experience.
No, it can't. And look, I don't think that compLexity really choked there. I think that they just had nothing on their T side. They didn't really appear as though they understood how the map worked at a high level. They weren't really able to change anything up on their T side to even expose the Liquid defense. So in that sense, Liquid had a great showing there on CT. They were able to make the plays when necessary. Pimp 2 or 3 times at that B side, including pistol round, was massive for them in closing out those rounds. But once that pressure had been put on B by Pimp, the compLexity side just basically ignored B and focused solely on A and mid, and it just played into the hands of Liquid.
Liquid having a very, very easy time on their CT side, and that completes map 1 of this encounter between the two teams. So they will be going on to Dust 2, which was Liquid's pick. So that one is, well, I don't know, Mirage, they looked as though they had an idea of how to play that CT side, but they didn't really have too much on that T side of compLexity. Yep. Hopefully, a better showing from them on this next map. So we will be seeing these two teams take each other on once again, but there will be a break, and it will only be a short one between the two maps. So stick around, guys. We'll be back here with map 2 of Liquid versus compLexity.